Welcome back to my channel. I'm Nerdy Figure Collector, and today I'll be reviewing the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin Donatello. And it looks pretty cool because you have an illustration of him, you have the side, other side, back, front, or top, bottom, and then you open it up, you see the figure posing, and then you have the actual figure with all of his accessories. And it looks pretty cool and nice detailed bugs like we normally get with the Last Ronin line. And now let's review the box in more detail. Here we have is the box in more detail. It looks pretty good. Up there it says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin, and with that nice like red circle in it. And then you have an illustration of Donatello. Looks like when, spoiler alert, when him and Splinter died. And then it shows him basically with a bunch of just his armor with his bow staff ready to fight. It looks like he's in like a cemetery, and then you have a red scribble on the bottom left, Nickelodeon, then Donatello. But anyway, so this is a nice basic illustration artwork from it, and it looks pretty cool. And then you have Nickelodeon up there, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin with that red circle, and the Last Ronin's ready to fight and is geared up. And Donatello is 5, and and that's the 5th one of the issue of this Last Ronin line. And then here we have is the kind of red with that black wash like we get in the artwork of all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like if you open it up, like the red in the back of it too. And I've never noticed that it's the same kind of red on this outline too. Anyway, so it's kind of same design and pattern of it. And then you have these comic book boxes, and then you have him kind of posing here, him ready to karate chop a foot soldier, and him with his bow staff. And then right here it says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin, and it's basically stuff about the Last Ronin. And then you have a black and white version of the Last Ronin kind of ready to fight, because you kind of see the shimmer in the katana. And then it says Neca down there. And then on the back you have the part of the mural that if you collect all of the NECA Last Ronin line, you would have like a mural of all the boxes. And then you could kind of see like a foot bot, or I think it might be called like a patrol bot, maybe. I think that's what it might be called. And then you have a bunch of arrows flying in, because that's how him and Splinter die. And you also see another piece of a person, and then you see obviously the arm of the spy bot. So all in all, pretty good. And then you have the the front of the box again. And if you go up here, it says Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin. Warning, choking hazard, small parts not for children under 3 and ages 14 and up. And also you have the names of the people who worked on this, and you have Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the barcode 0 through 3 X'd out, because you don't want little kids choking on the alternate head, the hat, or the alternate hands. And then you basically also have the neck and a bunch of different stuff on the bottom. And then that is it. Now let's review the actual figure. I forgot to review the inside of the box, so I will review the inside of the box real quick, and then we can continue on reviewing the figure. And as you can see here, you have Donnie wearing his hat, and him kind of fighting someone in his like kind of pose, and it looks pretty great. And it looks like he's in the cemetery, which, spoiler, is where they kind of died, him and Splinter. But anyway, so it looks cool. It looks like he has an angry head on, because the angry head shows teeth and the normal head just doesn't show teeth. But anyways, looks like a cool pose that they done there. And now let's get on with the review. And here we have is the figure. But before we talk about the figure, let's talk about the artwork that's in the box. And it is this normal red cardboard with some black wash on it, like you see some black dots, black smudges, and it looks pretty nice, cool, really. that the black and red fit, and that is really it. And now let's continue on reviewing the figure. Is the figure outside the package, and it looks pretty cool all around. And for the head, Donatello could look up that much, down that much, and then his head swivels that way and that way. His shoulder goes up that much with a lower shoulder swivel, double jointed elbow, and an up and down wrist movement. Same thing on the other side. The shoulder goes up this much. He has a lower shoulder swivel, a double jointed elbow, and an up and down wrist movement. He has somewhat of a little waist swivel, like that much, down that much, and that much. Pop the head off accidentally. There we go. He could kick up that much. He has thigh swivels, or thigh swivel on this side, double jointed knee, and an up and down ankle movement. Same thing here, thigh swivel, double jointed knee, and an up and down thighs or up and down ankle movement. And all in all, this looks pretty great. Now, since we got all the movement out of the way, we can talk about the detail in the figure. And the detail in this figure is pretty nice. You have a shoulder guard on this side. You have like a sleeve on this side, no sleeve on this side. You got some rope on his kind of on his like muscle and shoulder, and you have black lines on both of his arms to resemble his muscle or his scars or wear and tear during the years. He has a bunch of like face wrinkles or like face scratches and stuff on the head, and same thing on the bandana too. You can move the bandana as well. And then he has this weird purple piece of scarf on his chest. This is a place where you could hold his bow staff or put this flag he comes with. And then he comes with a bunch of kind of banged up or kind of scarred or just for design. You have black lines on his clothing. And then you have tape on his kind of forearm basically. And also, he has, like, forearm guards with the back of his hand movement like Leonardo did. And they kind of have bumps on each side. And then a bunch of detail on his kind of forearm as well. Same thing here. You have but not really same thing. It's kind of different on this side. This side is just, like, kind of multiple pieces kind of crisscrossed from each other, and then you have a back of the arms movement as well. On these wrists, they move up and down. He also has a nice belt, which doesn't really have any black wash, so it's kind of clean and stuff. And his clothing doesn't really look that bad really either. And he also has the same kind of crisscross design on his calves, and nice black lines to resemble the tape pattern on the legs, and no tape pattern on the bottom of the legs, but you could also see from the layers, and it's kind of bumpy on it, so you kind of know where the legs are. You also see a bunch of turtle toes, basically, and I never really seen turtle toes that are in a different line, but you see them with Leo and Raph. And then you have tape, black lines to resemble the tape pattern on his arms. And then you have finger wrinkles on the finger, obviously on the finger. And you could see some fingernail too. Same thing on this. So all in all, this is kind of like a cool figure. You see some shell there that's kind of banged and scuffed up. You could see some of the black lines on his neck near his Adam's apple. Pretty cool detail on the bandana as well. Same thing on this piece of the bandana, which I'm not for sure on what this is for. And then a nice kind of bow to tie his belt. And then, yeah, and a nice place to hold his bow staff or stuff. Oh, and you could have more scuffed up on the shell too. Like there's a crack there. Huh. Anyway, so a pretty nice figure. And so let's have him out to the side. You have, let's start with the hands for him. And he has one set of karate chopping hands that you could see some finger wrinkles and fingernails on them, and then black lines to resemble the pattern on the tape too. And then he has his back of the hand guards, same thing here, and they have bumps on each side, which is nice and textured. And yeah, all in all, this is pretty cool. Kind of like pretty cool set of hands because trolls do kind of karate chop. And then his wrist movement moves up and down. Same thing on this other side, moves up and down. One other thing, that the tape on all of these is kind of having like a thin coat of black wash on it, so it like shows that the tape's not nice and wide. It's like actually dirty and scuffed up, basically. And I do like about the details too, if you could see all of the scuffed up of the tape. And then he has one set of gotcha hands, so he could have a gotcha hands on Karai or a foot soldier. Same thing here, black lines to resemble kind of the bending of the hand, or also just a pattern of the tape too. He also has back of the hand guards that have bumps on each side, which is pretty cool. You also have the black wash on these, so the tape's kind of scuffed up. You also have finger wrinkles and fingernails on both of these hands, and that's also pretty neat too. And all the hands look the same basically, which is for details wise, it's pretty cool. The wrist movement moves up and down. Same thing on this side. The wrist movement moves up and down. Be careful with this figure also, because some of the chips kind of flaking off during this video. And he has two sets of grabbing or grip hands, so you could grip his bow staff, or grip the flag, or grip his hat, or grip anything else, weapons, or accessory wise, really. And then they have black lines like the others ones to resemble the tape pattern. And he has back of the hand guards or protection on. They both have bumps on both sides, which is a nice texture use. And then even out with the black lines, you can see the layers of the different tape, which is pretty cool too. You also see finger wrinkles and fingernails, and the movement moves up and down. Same thing on this other side. Wrist movement moves up and down as well. And then that is it for the hands, but he does come with a bow staff, because you can't have a Donatello figure without a bow staff. And then you have the kind of black lines with a black wash to show kind of like this kind of worn gray white material basically. And it looks pretty cool, and it's also layered too, so you could feel all the bumps and stuff. And then he has like a piece of red cloth on it, which is kind of which has black lines to resemble the kind of layered details in it and patterns, and also has that black wash, so it's kind of been there a while, so it's kind of scuffed up. And then you kind of have wood engraves on it, on this figure, or on this accessory as well, which is pretty good. It looks like I got some of the kind of gray paint on this stuff, but that looks fine. It's like little pieces of it. But all in all, though, you do have this nice piece of like wood engraved bow staff, basically, so it kind of looks like wood. And then he comes with an alternate head to show some teeth, like an angrier head, like spoiler, when the foot soldiers attack Splinter and Donatello. But anyways, he has a bunch of dropped it. He has some of the kind of like not really necessary more wrinkles, maybe a couple more, but he has some like chin wrinkles and more like eyebrow wrinkles, so he kind of shows more emotion. You could see some teeth on like that one, which he's just frowning, and some black lines under or on the bandana as well, The bandana also moves a 362. But all in all, this is pretty cool. Kind of alternate head too, so it also looks the same but different in terms of having the same wrinkles but different face expression. And it looks like he has wider eyes on this one too, so that's pretty neat as well. And also he has like kind of texture on the bandana part of it too. And then he comes with a hat, and the hat looks pretty good. He kind of has this pattern on it, which is nice and texturized. Same thing on this other side. And it's in this nice, like, rubbery material, basically, or soft plastic. And then and I do like how it's kind of different shades of gray between light and dark gray. And then he has, like, a spot for his head, so it's kind of easily sits there, so it doesn't really kind of scuff up this or the head. And then he has this brown scarf with a bunch of black lines on it to resemble more of the detail and the knot of it. So the hat is more secure on the figure. So if you have him dangling down, I don't know why you would have him dangling down, but if you have him dangling down for like a stop motion video or something, then this hat might be a nice hat to have because it has this thing and won't really fall off. And then for our last accessory, you have the Hamato Yoshi clan, I think. Hamato clan. And it's a nice kind of fabric-y material. You have the logo of it and also white and red. Basically, or not white and red, yellow and red. And same pattern on this side too. So all in all, this is a pretty cool thing. This is kind of like a flimsy piece of plastic to hold it. But this is also a nice piece of cloth too, though, to have Donatello hold. And you could have him in any turtle background too. So all in all, I say this is a pretty cool figure with a okay selection of accessories. But anyways, now let's get this figure in some posing and then scaling, and then that would be it of the video. And here we have Donnie all by himself, but just posing with his flag, basically the Hamato clan, and then he has a bow staff in the back of him, and then he also has his hat on. So this is a very simple pose, basically. If I had the Splinter figure, I would put him right beside him. But anyway, so I do like this. It's kind of showing him, like, spoiler alert, going to the Japan to talk about the truce at the foot assignment. Anyway, so this is a fun, easy, just a fun, easy way that I put a pose in them, and that's it, really. 2 more poses, and then we could talk about the mural from the, or the mural on the boxes. And here we have his Donatello kind of guarding him, or defending himself from the footbot that it has a double grip on one of his katanas and kind of attacking it. Here's another angle or back here. But anyway, so this looks pretty cool, pretty fun, pretty easy pose, really, and something that I feel like Donatello and the footbot would get into is fighting, basically. The pose was also easy because all I had to do is kind of move the feet and put the bow staff in both of his hands. And then somewhat with the footbot as well. But anyway, so let's do one more pose, and then we could go on see the mural on the boxes, and then go on to scaling. And here you have his Donatello about to fight Karai. You could see him with his open palm kind of ready to fight, and his bow staff ready behind him, and then Karai's aiming the katana at him. So this is a pretty, like I keep saying, pretty easy pose, pretty simple, and kind of something that you would see Karai and Donnie would do, would be obviously fighting like this. And so yeah, really pretty fun, pretty easy. So now let's look at the mural on the boxes, and then move on to scaling, and that will be it for the video. And here we have is adding Donnie's sliver of the mural together, and it looks pretty great. Here we have is the armored Ronin, unarmored Ronin, Raphael, Leo, and Donnie, and it looks really great together. You could really see on what is showing up, and it looks like that. Looks like a sliver of a blue Sinja arm. So let's see what that is, and that is it. Here we have is Donnie standing next to Cry and Leo from the last Ronin line. And it looks like pretty accurate from the show, or not the show, the comic book, because if you look here, Cry is taller than the main four, and it looks like Leonardo is kind of the middle of the height, and Donnie is the smallest out of these three. But anyways, though, I do like how it's accurate to the comic and stuff. So now let's do 2 more scalings, and that would be the end of the video. And here I have is Donnie staying next to Raph and Mikey from the last Ronin line. It looks pretty accurate, like the last one, because of the height difference of the 3 of them. Looks like Raph and Donnie are kind of... actually, Mikey is looks like he is somewhat a taller. Like Raph, I say would be the tallest one. Mikey maybe the second tallest, and the Donatello being the smallest of the 3, which is kind of alright in terms of that. I feel like my stance is kind of him like somewhat bent, because I feel like it would be taller than Mikey, but I don't know how it would be in the comic book because it's been a while since I read it. But anyway, so it looks pretty nice. And now let's do 1 more scaling, and that will be the end of the video. And here we have is Donnie staying next to the last Ronin, and also staying right next to the unarmored last Ronin figure. And Donnie is the shortest, while the last Ronin, which is unarmored, is smaller than the actual geared up, ready to fight last Ronin, which I feel like is accurate because last Ronin is older than the Donnie, because, spoiler, Donnie died and the last Ronin lived. But anyway, so there's that, and also the unarmored last Ronin is geared up, so he's kind of like hunchback, kind of smaller, which is also accurate from the comic book. But anyway, so this is a great lineup, great figures, and now that is the end of the video. So please like and subscribe. It will really help the channel out. And also, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.